Welcome to This Week in Health IT events, where we amplify great ideas with interviews from the floor. My name is Bill Russell, healthcare CIO coach and creator of This Week in Health IT, a set of podcasts and videos dedicated to developing the next generation of health leaders. We want to thank our founding channel sponsors who make this content possible, Health Lyrics and VMware. If you want to be a part of our mission to develop health leaders, go to thisweekhealth.com/sponsor for more information. This episode is sponsored by Health Lyrics. When I became a CIO, I was really overwhelmed at first, and one of the first things I did was to sign a CIO coach to walk with me through the journey. This was someone who had wisdom that can only be gained through years of experience. It was invaluable to my success in the role, and I now coach CIOs through Health Lyrics. If you want to learn more, visit healthlyrics.com or drop me a note at bill@thisweekinhealthit.com. Over the next 3 weeks, we have a huge treat for you. I'm really excited about it. I just got back from the CHIME Fall Forum in Scottsdale, which was a great event, and we caught up with 12 active CIOs from various size health systems and asked them to take a look back at 2019 and a look forward at 2020. You're going to hear what they're excited to have accomplished last year and what they're looking forward to accomplish next year. I asked each of them the same 8 questions, and I think you're going to be fascinated to hear the similarities and the differences based on where they're at, geography, and other things. Each of these interviews is about 10 minutes long, so you can listen to them really quick, and some of you listen at 1.5 times speed, so it's going to go like that. We're going to publish one a day with a few Newsday episodes sprinkled in through the end of November, so check back every day for the next episode, and don't forget to look back to see if you missed any. Not all of these conversations were with CIOs. I was able to sit down with Marx, who is really a deputy CIO type role for Sharp Healthcare, working with Ken Lewan down there. And we had a really good conversation, and I convinced her to come on the air to talk about 2 of the questions that I was asking the CIOs, and that was around the experience, the clinician experience and the patient experience, which Sharp is doing some great work around. And I just love the conversation, and I hope you enjoy. Another session from the floor of the CHIME Fall Forum, and we're here with Marx. What's your title?
Vice President IT Applications, Sharp Healthcare.
So you make sure that things get done at Sharp.
That's what I do most of the time, all day long, cracking the whip.
So give us an idea of what is that role, and what do you oversee?
Sure. Well, for those of your viewers who don't know Sharp Healthcare, we're 7 hospitals and 2 large medical groups in San Diego, California. We are using still several best-of-breed applications. So Cerner is our core EMR, Athena GE Centricity Business for Revenue Cycle Reg Sketch. We've got Allscripts TouchWorks in our ambulatory, so still pretty diversified with all of our applications. I would say we have near 1,000 applications, and a lot of those are under my responsibility for daily operations, deployment, maintenance.
Wow. So we're not going to go through the whole series of questions because I didn't warn you that we were going to go through these series of questions,
That's okay.
So I think it's fair. But a couple things. Since you're working on the applications, we'll focus in on the 2 questions I think have a lot of relevance, which is, what's one initiative you're doing? If I go to the people of San Diego, you have a lot of covered lives.
Correct.
So if I went to those people and said, look, this is what Sharp is going to be doing to improve the patient experience over the next year or 2 years, what's the one thing that you would point to?
Yeah, we actually just completed a strategic plan called Consumer 2020, and Consumer 2020 is focused exclusively on consumer initiatives that were built out of requests that we received from San Diego members of our health plan and just in the community. We went out in front of urgent cares and we asked patients coming out, what would be the most meaningful to you as a consumer of Sharp? And a lot of demand for self-scheduling, mobile technology, telemedicine, anything related to consumer, wayfinding, parking assistance, etc. So a whole consumer focus, and it really has jumped to the priority over other initiatives, and not necessarily vendor driven. So not we're not totally committing to Cerner toolset or Athena toolset or Allscripts. We're evaluating what would be the most ease of use with the best stickiness and value.
That's fantastic. You just stood out, well, not you personally,
Yeah.
with the clipboard, but you had people standing outside the urgent care centers,
Yep.
saying, "Hey, tell us about your experience. You know, what would have made it better?"
Yeah.
And I mean, I'm sure you guys. I've created those surveys before. You spend a lot of time coming up with the right questions.
Yeah, you know, the reason we did that is when you're doing traditional project prioritization, you use your internal governance committees, which are usually leaders in operational areas of the hospital to help you make the decisions what's going to mean the most to the organization. But when you're dealing with a patient consumer population, the best person to ask is not the administrators, but the actual patients themselves. So we have a team, digital marketing team, reporting to our chief marketing officer. They've all been trained in product management, so different than project management, product management. And they went out and we surveyed many people. And actually, one thing we've already started delivering in our Cerner.com website is already offering a lot of consumer stuff, bill pay, find a doc. We just went live with urgent care wait time. And those were all driven prioritization from the customer. You know, Bill, you always have a list that's never done. So we let the consumers pick what was the most important. And online scheduling is our next on the list.
Yeah, it was interesting. When we were doing our portal at St. Joe's, we had like the 10 things we had to have in it, and the team's building it out, and they're doing all these things. And finally, when I came in, I'm like, hey, have we talked to the consumers? We talked to the consumers. And the things that were like number 8 and 9 ended up being number 1 and 2 in the consumers line.
Same exact thing happened to us. We were very surprised because when we thought what the consumer patient wanted was based on the lens of being healthcare employees and being influenced by other objects like our operational statistics, our growth requirements, what our vendors are telling us. And sure enough, same exact experience. The patients and the consumers reshuffled our prioritization.
Yeah. I'm going to get to that. But the other thing that happens is we say, well, we're patients as healthcare, and we say like, well, so we understand it. The problem is our bias is we understand healthcare.
Correct.
And so we view it through that lens.
Yeah, and you know, I think another helpful thing, which we had done a little bit in the past, but now we're trying to broaden throughout the organization, is the use of a persona. So we looked at the population we serve, and the largest population who we thought would be the biggest user of our consumer products was a single mother of 2, maybe divorced. We gave her a name, Anna, and we wrote a little scenario about her. And then we challenge now all of our consumer projects against that persona to kind of keep us on track to hit the majority of the consumer we're trying to target.
That's fantastic. Well, one of the other consumers is the clinicians.
Yeah.
So what's one thing that that the team and the organization is focused on that's going to move the needle for their experience?
Yeah, you know, when you talk about clinicians, we end up breaking them into 2 groups. So we have our physician medical group, and then we have our inpatient clinicians, nursing, respiratory therapy, ancillary services. And we were hearing similar requests coming from the physicians. The physicians were asking for communication tools like texting, secure texting, and the nurses were asking for alerting and messaging, and why do I have to carry around so many tools? And then our telecom was saying we're getting ready to do a refresh on all the phones. So it was obvious that we should put together a plan to address that. We looked at the marketplace and we decided to partner with Cerner, our EHR partner, for integration, and we're going with a clinical communication tool that will be deployed on a smartphone. And we are live with one facility so far, a Cerner CareAware Connect product. And what's fantastic is the tool is helping the nurse because she's getting voice, she can do image capture, barcoding at the bedside, and communication with the physician. And the physician gets the same, although the most important to the physician really is the texting. And they've really enjoyed that. They're doing that BYOD, and then the nurses are getting the smartphones.
Wow, I don't want to get too much into the technology, but I mean, that's a huge benefit to them in terms of every now, I don't know about you, but I walk through the HIMSS floor and I try to go from end to end, and I see all the things they're trying to put out. They're like, well, your nurses will love this, you'll love this, like this, and I'm like, no, I think what the nurses would like is simplification.
Correct. I couldn't agree more. You know, as both the medical staff and the nurse, they see that technology is now part of operations. There's no going back. It's a part of their life. But we have to get them to love the technology and to eliminate the clicks. And for so long, we've just been implementing that it has become too many layers. And the simplification from this mobile device that now you can do documentation and you can make a call and do all these tasks from one handheld is really powerful, and they're thrilled about it.
If I can ask you, if we only have like a minute left here, but we did a survey of our users and listeners, and they said, if you could ask the health IT executives what roles they're going to be hiring, I just want to throw that question out there, because we have a lot of college students watching, and they're saying, hey, you know, where's health IT hiring these days?
You know, I would say anyone who can come with certain competencies. I don't think that I would get caught up in a title anymore, because the title of an analyst or an engineer or integration resource, it's really, to me, bringing competencies and selling your skill set around soft skills, being able to communicate and facilitate, being able to problem solve, being able to facilitate dialogue. Those are the differentiators, and then you can back yourself into several roles. That's
been the common theme is, you know, you would think we'd be talking about these really hard skills, and the common theme is we need more people who are artistic or creative, who are
good listeners, facilitators, negotiators.
It's
exactly.
Like we're finally marrying, and I'm going to play these things next to each other. People are going to hear the same thing sometimes, but we're finally marrying the left brain and the right brain.
Agreed.
Of
that's what we're looking for at Sharp. So
absolutely, well, Kara, thank you very much for your time.
Happy to help. Thank
Appreciate
you.
It. I hope you enjoyed the conversation. Remember to check back often, as we are going to drop an episode a day for most of November of 2019. Following that, please come back every Friday for more great interviews with influencers, and don't forget, every Tuesday we take a look at the news which impacts health IT. If you want to support the fastest growing podcast in the health IT space, here's a few ways that you can do that. The first, share it with a peer, share it with a friend, share it with somebody who's working right there next to you. Number two, sign up for Insights and Staff Meeting. These are services designed to help you in your career. Number three, interact with our social media content on Twitter and LinkedIn. Number four, post or repost our content. And number five, always send me feedback, bill@thisweekinhealthit.com. Your insights continue to shape the channel. This show is a production of This Week in Health IT. For more great content, you can check out our website at thisweekhealth.com or our YouTube channel. Special thanks to our sponsors, VMware and Health Lyrics, for choosing to invest in developing the next generation of health leaders. Thanks for listening. That's all for now.